Welcome to Goal Talks. On these little clips, we're going to meet some very interesting people that are going to connect sports, football particularly, and mental health and wellness. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Goal Talks. Today we have pro athlete Samuel Piette. This gentleman plays for the national team. He plays professional in the MLS. He's a new father, and he's definitely someone who can tell us a little bit about the pros and cons of mental health in sport and how they perfectly correlate. Sam, thank you for joining us today on Goal Talks.
Yeah, of course, Paul. How are you?
So in a nutshell, it's a very quick question, and you answer how you like. The idea here is the foundation is pushing and screaming as loud as it can based on what a lot of people have already said in the past, and we hope that we can continue the message that mental health and sport, and specifically football, go hand in hand. And then when you have an opportunity to talk and you have an opportunity to play sport and play soccer and play with a team, your mind can sort of clear out some of the cobwebs that it has, because everybody has mental situations that they have to deal with. If you're a pro, if you're not, if you drink, if you don't, if you're stressed, if you're not, everybody deals with it at some point, he or she. There's always that sort of thing. Have you ever overcome yourself using sport with your own sort of, have you had a situation where you're like, man, I need to go play or train to work out some of the cobwebs I have in my head? Or potentially, have you ever used that to help somebody else close to you?
Yeah, I've used it for myself. When I was younger, I was playing in Europe, and being away for a long period of time, obviously, it was very difficult, especially at a young age. So at one point, I got really homesick, especially during trainings. Where you have a lot of time to think about and think about home and stuff like that. But I was in Europe for one reason was to play football, obviously, but every time I was on the pitch, and like you said, for me, sports and mental health, they go hand to hand, and it's connected. It's the connection between the two is so strong. So for me, when I was training, I was just completely forget where I was. I was in France, but when I was on the pitch, I was, seeing myself back home on a football pitch right beside my place with my friends. So I was totally forgetting that I was homesick and forgetting I was 6,000 kilometers away from my family and the people I love. But then when you finish training and then you're back to, not playing sports, obviously your mind is back to, it's more relaxed, it's more think about other stuff. But when I'm on the pitch, I feel like all of my problems, they go away. I know it's cliche to say, but it's so true. So for me, during that period when it was very difficult, sports, thank God sports were there for me.
Yeah.
Because it would have been very difficult to go through what I was going through without sports.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of pro athletes, as you're saying, when they're doing their craft, when they're doing their job, they're so honed in on what they're focusing on that everything else sort of gets pushed to the side so they can do their job. And then it's only when their job is done and they're decompressing in the shower, in the ice bath, or they're like you said, they're home and they're having a bite to eat or something. That's when the doors open up and the floodgates come out, because they've been like, you guys have been like this, boys and girls are like this. And then it's only till after, then you're like, oh yeah, I have to still work stuff out.
Yeah, 100%. At a pro level, but even at a younger or lower level, you just to get out there and move, run, sweat, you basically forget everything else than just putting one foot in front of the others and move and do sports, whatever the sport is, obviously as a pro athlete, it takes a lot of concentration when you do it. So that's why you're so tunnel focused on what you do now. But even when you're younger and you just play for fun, or even myself, when I practice another sport, I just totally forget, what's going on outside of what I'm doing right now. And I think that's the beauty of sports. It gets your mind of just focusing on one stuff. So that's why I think if people have mental health problems and stuff, the best way to get over that is obviously practicing sport.
That's amazing, man. Samuel, thank you for joining us on Gold Talks and opening up and sort of helping us bring to light the idea that it's so critically important to move, to play football, and to have conversations so that you can work things out, because everybody needs that opportunity. So Sam, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, of course, Paul. Anytime.
Cheers.